Today we've got a lovely morning and we're going to show you how to plant a bare root tree. A bare root tree is a tree that's been lifted with its roots exposed, just like this one here. So this tree is a 10-12 and it's a field maple. It's an Acer campestre Ellsworth, really nice tree. So before we start, you're going to need some tools to do this job because you can't do it with your hands. So you're going to need a shovel or a spade to dig the hole. You're going to need a sledgehammer to put the stake into the ground, and you're going to need a staking kit which you can get from us as well. In an ideal world, you need some compost, good quality topsoil, and we're going to use soil improver, a bacterial stimulant, and we're going to use a ProStart Osmocote slow release fertiliser, which is ideal for starting off young trees and giving them the best possible chance to get going. So as you can see, we've prepared a hole. We've dug this by hand, and we've prepared it to the right size so the tree is going to fit just nicely in. So we'll have a go and see how it goes now. I think we put this in, you can see the lovely fibrous root structure around it, and I think it's just a little bit low. So we're going to lift the tree out again, put in some fresh topsoil, tamp it down so it doesn't sink, and we'll go from there. So now we've just raised the level and we've firmed the soil down, and as you can see, it's fitting in really nicely. And what's really important here is that we're planting the tree just level with, or even slightly proud of where it was growing previously. And that's really, really important. It's probably the most important thing when you're planting a tree, is that you get the level right. You do not want, in any circumstances, to plant the tree too low. Just where the flare comes out and the roots expand, ideally slightly proud, so the water just flows off it, because they like to be nice and dry. So there is, it looks like it's just a perfect level. We're going to fill this in, but before we do that, we're going to add some mycorrhiza to give the roots that stimulant that they need to get going. So we're just going to add some mycorrhiza on the roots, directly onto the roots, just like this. And this is a fantastic addition to any young plants that are being planted. It's a bacterial stimulant that will really help the young roots get established and increase the biological activity in the soil. It's a fantastic product that we sell, and it's a great boost to any young plant when they're starting out. So here we're just adding some of the sod, which has got the top of the soil actually has got a real good bit of humus in it, so that'll add to the tree as that breaks down, and it'll hold a bit of moisture as well. So it's a great addition when you're planting a tree like this. So we're going to put that around the roots, and after this we're just going to put in some of the other softer soil. When you're doing it, always make sure to leg it well, because a lot of this soil will subside a small bit. But this fertilizer will break down over the next 6 months, which is a really important time in the tree's life, because it's just starting out, and it'll give it the nitrogen and the nutrients that it needs when it's very important in March, April, May, and June, just coming into the time when it's starting to grow. Okay, so now as you can see, we've mixed some lovely compost through with the topsoil, so it's nice and soft, so that when the roots come out, they've got some lovely organic matter to grow out into, and it's not too hard on the tree. I'm firming it here, so it's nice and firm around that it's not going to drop too much. All the time, trying to keep just the level of the soil around the tree at the right height. It's got a lovely mix of topsoil and compost. The tree is sitting ever so slightly proud out of the ground, so even if this does fall an inch or two, it's not going to make a difference. It's at the right level. The rainwater should just fall off it, and it looks absolutely just the way you'd want it. It looks absolutely perfect. So now that we've got the tree planted, the next thing we've got to do is to put a stake and tie in it, secure it so it doesn't move that much and it gives the roots a chance to get established, and it holds the tree in position for the next 2 to 3 growing seasons. Generally we recommend 2, if it's quite windy, maybe 3. So this is a bare root 10-12, and with a tree of this size, we generally recommend that you use a single stake and tie system. When it gets bigger, kind of 12-14 or 14-16, we'd always recommend that you use a double stake and crossbar. For a tree like this, you need a single staking kit. So this is what you get. You get a cushion like this, so the tree rests against the stake without getting damaged. Great strapping to hold it in place. And these are special staking nails with a big wide head to hold the tie firmly in place. And to install it, you're going to need a crowbar to drive a hole. You're going to need a stake, in this situation a 5 foot 3 inch round. You're going to need a sledgehammer. Now we're going to prepare the hole for the stake using the crowbar here. And we're going to prepare it so it's nice and tight to the tree. You don't want it far away. I'm talking about an inch away. So the crowbar is going to go just nicely through the roots. We're going to widen the hole and we're going to use the mallet here to put the stake into position. Hold the head away here, so there we go. There we go. So using this system, you avoid damaging any of the roots that are down there. You can see there's a good firm base underneath it. Okay, I think that's good. So you can see when that's in position and this is straightened up, it's really nice and tight to the tree, so that'll keep it nice and secure. Sometimes you see people putting the stake 6 inches away. Really, that's no good. You want it nice and tight so it's good and sturdy and the tree doesn't move. Using our mallet, we're going to just drive that tree. Okay. So you can see we're using a mallet, which is ideal for driving stakes. Sometimes if you use a sledge, it can damage the top of the tree. So if you can get your hands on a mallet, it's great, but otherwise gently with a sledgehammer. Now, we're going to just make sure that the tree is nice and secure. We're going to put the strapping around the tree and the cushion between the tree and the stake. And that's really important because the cushion stops the tree from rubbing off the stake and getting damaged. And this cushion is plastic, 38 mil, and it's nice and soft so the tree can grow against it for the next 2 or 3 years and not get damaged. So there you can see, putting the strap through the 2 holes in the cushion, and that's right against the stake. We're just going to step back now and see if the tree is good and straight. I like to walk all around the tree. That's pretty perfect. So I'm just gonna hold it in position for Andrew. We're gonna use the 2 staking nails that we were talking about. They've got a really wide head, which is very handy. Because if you use a small head, the strapping can separate. So now it's really nicely secured, but it still has a little bit of movement. It's not going anywhere. The stake is lovely and firm. This cushion here, if the tree rubs off it, doesn't make a difference. However, if it rubs off the stake, it'll really damage the bark on the tree. So that's really nicely done. It's lovely and straight. There's enough space there for it to grow in the next couple of years. And in 2 years' time, you just come along, cut off the plastic, take away the stake and the cushion, and the tree is nicely anchored into its new home and its roots have firmly established itself. And this tree is going to go nowhere. We're just going to finish off this with a lovely layer of compost on top of it, and that has a number of benefits. The compost looks brilliant, keeps it nice and warm during the winter, stops the water from evaporating during the summer. It helps keep the weeds down and the grass down, which compete for moisture and nutrients. And overall, the image of the tree with the lovely curtain of compost around it looks fantastic, and it's great for the tree as well. So the last thing I like to do before the mulch goes on is just add another layer of our Pro Start Osmocoat, and then we're going to put the final layer of compost over the top of it. You don't have to use compost, you can use leaf mold, bark mulch, manure if you have access to it, but for this purpose we're using compost because everybody can get their hands on that. So that's just about right. You don't want too much of it, you don't want it to be too high. The level there looks just around perfect, and that is exactly how I want it to look when it's finished. Slightly elevated, that would be a very, very happy tree. And that's exactly how you should plant a bare root tree And that's how you should stake it, with a single stake and tying kit.